Um, but all right, so now let's wrap this up with a
Yes.
reaction to season 2, episode 11 of Superman and Lois. So, Brett, I'll let you get started. What did you think of episode 11 of season 2?
Another great episode. The show really is just killing it every week. It really is. So we got to see Soups make his way back right from the beginning of the episode. We pick up right where the two
Yeah,
Jonathans are about to merge, and then we get Soups right out of the portal, right there to save his son. That was great. Yeah, there was some nice family drama and some repercussions from Jonathan seeing his double and kind of learning a little bit about the Bizarro world from Clark. That you know, in that world, he doesn't have the secret identity, and it did a lot of damage to their family, and that they were kind of like crazy over there.
yeah,
But both boys kind of rebelling against their father a little bit, and like maybe it should be that way. Maybe we shouldn't be hiding. And Jordan, a little more drama with Sarah because he can't really reveal what's been going on, and
yeah.
it was a really interesting look into that. There was some nice action this episode, which was really cool. They definitely spent some money on this one,
Yeah.
but we spent it primarily all on our Earth. We didn't go
Yes.
into the weird zone, the Bizarro world, and the big thing at the end where Clark makes a decision, at least for his best friend Lana, because they had like a little awkward encounter earlier on, to reveal himself that he has been Superman all along. And I thought that was really beautiful and done really, really well. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you? So yeah, what do you think?
I mean, listen, I thought it was another great episode of the show. I love I love how the crazy larger than life stuff affects the interpersonal relationships and the family so much too. I
Yeah,
like seeing the day-to-day impact of some of these big crazy things that happen. And the way that the family reacts to this idea of living in public instead of with the secrets, I think is interesting because, of course, the adults agree that the secret is important and they're thinking bigger picture and they're thinking, it's safer for everyone and it's the better play for us to keep this under our hats. On top of that, they've been living with this. I mean, Clark's been living with it his whole life.
right.
Lois, presumably for at least 20 something years, they've probably been together at this point. So, but for the kids, of course, they see it differently. They're hormonal teenage boys. Imagine living with that kind of a secret
Yeah,
and knowing, like, imagine being Jordan and you have a
yeah,
girlfriend, but you can't tell her that you're half alien and that you have these abilities that sometimes flare up. And of course, she's going to take it as you're being distant and weird and
right.
keeping a part of you from her. But meanwhile, you're doing it for her own good. But at the same time, these boys are apparently like 15 years old. We can't expect them to think big picture. They're going to be like, Dad, you lied to us for all these years and it did all this damage. Maybe lying wasn't the way to go. And maybe we don't want to grow up to be liars like you had to do. We want to be able to just live our lives, be out and proud, and not have to like watch our steps all the time. And in poor Jordan's case, his relationship is now on fire because of it. So
Right.
you could kind of see on their end why they would be like, why can't I just be Jonathan L here? Why do we have to keep pretending to be someone that we're not? And I thought that was that whole element of it was very interesting.
Yeah, it's great that
Um,
like you said, like when Superman went to this bizarre world, and we also found out that he was away for a month,
yeah,
basically,
33
and he thought he
days.
was there for like a day.
Yeah,
But it's really great how like, because normally like in a lesser show, it would just be like, okay, that was just the adventure that Clark had over in the bizarre world, and that's it, and now.
yeah,
But whatever. Now we're just back to like life on the farm. But the
yeah,
fact that that does come and actually affect the family and have some kind of an impact, everything he does has an impact on the family. And the
yeah.
fact that they've been just like really consistently sticking with that has kept the show so good and
So
interesting.
good.
and allows us to have those Superman moments and those more comic booky, like you said, high fantasy type situations, but then really bring it back, intimate, and it's great. They've been
Yeah.
so good with that. It's a really great angle.
And we're finding out more now with John Henry Irons about like he seems to be working on like a scientific cure to this problem. He's going to try to find a way to close that portal or try to find a way to
Right.
like make sure that whatever Allie has going on in the Bizarro world, she can't bleed it over into this world. Because
Sure.
I was wondering, I feel like him and his daughter, that whole storyline kind of went on the back burner there for a little
Yeah, they've been
while.
gone for like 3-4 episodes. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean they had the thing where while Superman was gone, Steel had stepped in, which I liked. But
Right.
that whole dynamic between his daughter and how she'd been lost and basically like in suspended animation looking for him for years and all that, like
Right.
they finally brought that back in a meaningful way. And it's interesting because she seems to have her own agenda, her own thing in mind that she's preparing while he's trying to find a way to close the portal.
Right.
So I'm really into all that. Although, did you notice that they completely sidestepped our question of, so what does this mean now for Allie? Allie has done the union. We haven't
Right.
seen, we still don't know. We did a whole episode.
Yeah,
And
they
since
talked.
we
They
did,
vaguely were like, "She's super powerful now," and I was like,
yeah,
"Okay,
we still don't
well,
know what that means, what that
yeah,
looks like, what the ramifications are. And of course, now we're heading into another hiatus. Again, if I could just pause here, I'm going to pause here
well, they're gonna
just to
pause also."
say, I'm going to pause here and just be like, to me, this feels like unprofessional. When you say that you're going to have a show and it premieres on this date and it's every Tuesday at 9, you be there every Tuesday at 9 until the finale.
Yeah,
This weird thing where like we're going to give you 4 episodes, then disappear for 2 weeks. Then we're going to give you 3 episodes and then disappear for 4 weeks. And then we're going to give
yeah,
you 2. Like to me this just seems like strange. Like no other,
yeah.
I've never followed a show where there's this many breaks in the middle of the season.
So it's funny though because like obviously the most recent one I remember, the actress who plays Lois had said it was a COVID thing and it has
Mm,
caused delays, and that might be the case for this, but
okay.
I remember. So I was one of the first people on board when Arrow came out in the CW and the
Yeah.
Flash. So Arrow I watched like probably I don't know how many seasons that went, but I watched like a good probably like 4 or 5 seasons of that show. The Flash I maybe watched like the first 2 seasons. If I'm not mistaken, they had these weird breaks and hiatuses, and
Oh,
that was way
really? So is
before
this a
COVID.
CW thing?
I think it is, and
Oy.
it used to be random. I remember like Arrow, and then it would be off for like 2 weeks. Then it would come back for a few episodes, then be like off for a week, and then like they would do stuff like that too. And like they didn't have the COVID excuse, so now I'm
Yeah.
like, is it the COVID excuse or is it just like a production
Just
thing? Like
how they do business somehow.
maybe
I
they're just
don't
like
get it.
understaffed. They can't get the stuff done in time. I don't know. It's
I don't know. I
interesting.
mean,
But yeah, I feel like just like what, then like don't premiere it yet until you can air all the
that's what
episodes
I'm
back to
saying.
back.
I would rather say,
Hold
okay,
it
we're
off.
going to delay it 5 weeks, but you'll get every episode in a
Yeah.
in a weekly, timely
And that was
fashion.
episode 11. How many do we have left?
So there's 15 in total. So when they come back from this next hiatus,
Hopefully we just get the 4.
hopefully we get the final 4 in one strip. Although I wouldn't put it past them that we get 2 and then there's another 3-week break. So I don't
Right.
know. But yes, so the big thing at the end, the big thing with him telling Lana. First of all, I'm glad they did it because it's funny. I guess it just shows that the writers, what the foreshadowing they did was good and it worked on me. When he flies into Smallville after Jonathan gets visions of Jonathan L by the diner and the no good that he's up to, I was very surprised that he was walking around in Clark garb. I figured since he knows Jonathan L is there on the attack, he's going
Right.
to be in Superman mode. So when he's walking in street clothes and then bumps into Lana, and then that whole awkward exchange happens, and then he sees Jonathan L down the block, but he's too busy caught up in this weird conversation with. I
Right.
remember thinking like, I don't know if keeping the secret was the right play here when you know that this guy is about to do this, and on top of
Right.
that, like you really should have come here as Superman. Why did you do this? But then it all makes sense in the end. That was all to sort of set up the fact that yeah, he chose his secret over doing something, and look how badly that went. It's another
Right.
thing where thematically in this episode, the weight, the burden of that secret is a big, big deal. And no, so I just loved it. I thought
Yeah.
I thought that was handled really well. I'm trying to think of any other like standout
Oh, we
moments.
should talk about there was a big fight between Jordan and Jonathan L. And
That oh
there was
yes,
a Jordan was getting his ass beat pretty bad, but then he finally like was like, "Who's the weaker brother now?" And then he like
yeah,
jacked him up real good. He punched him into the sky, and then it was really a nice shot. Was he flew up with the one arm straight up, and they
yep.
had a great shot of him flying up with the one arm. It
And
was
did you
really
notice
nice.
he has his own theme?
Oh, I don't think I noticed that. I was
Dude,
still
if you
taking
go
the
back and
visuals.
listen, the composers have given Jordan, like, I want to call it his Superboy theme. He
Yeah.
has his own little horn motif that plays when he's being all super heroic. And it makes me wonder too, like, are they trying to lead to an eventual spin-off for Jordan? You know, maybe they
Uh,
will do a Superboy show. I don't know.
yeah.
But there was, yeah, that was such an amazing moment where like something just clicked, and it seemed almost like his powers activated more. Like, you know, he had to be under that level of
Right.
duress and stress for like the rest of his abilities to kick in, because all of a sudden he was like little Superman after that. You know
Yeah,
what I
he got
mean?
like real strong.
Yeah.
I like that you brought up music too, because I did actually want to call out. They didn't, they have that little like motif that they play at the end of the episode. Na-na. They did a nice version of it when Clark revealed himself to Lana. There was like
Mm,
a nice, like kind of emotional uh version of it, and I
yeah.
thought it was really nice. I was like,
Really, really nice.
kudos to, I don't know who the composer is, but good
Yeah.
job.
And you know what I got a kind of a kick out of though too? You know, Lana and Clark dated. You know, they have history.
Yeah,
They, you know, at one point in it, that was his first love. They have some sort of chemistry. They have
yeah,
some sort of simpatico. I love that right now. You know, it's completely platonic. I remember there had been some concern early on, like when the first trailers for season one came out, when it was still
yeah,
a new show. People were like, "Oh my god, are they going to play up like a love triangle thing with Clark and Lana and Lois? That's such a betrayal of the character." But meanwhile, they've played it so good.
yeah,
Clark, you never get the sense that there's any kind of romantic or sexual
yeah. It's a
tension
friendship.
between them. It's just a friendship. But when Superman brings her back home or whatever after the ordeal, there's a moment there where she's like,
You want to come in?
"Do you want to come in?" Yeah, it was like, woo, you know, because again, you know, there's a connection there, and of
Yeah,
course, it's, you know, she would love to have Superman. She's single now, you know.
yeah. She wants to get
The husband's
super
staying at
sexed
some
up. Yeah,
dumpy hotel, you know. She exactly. So
poor
yeah.
Kyle.
So either way, I liked that they built on that they have this history. She invites Superman in for a drink. He says no, and then comes back and lets her know, just so you know, it's me, it's Clark, so don't flirt with me anymore. No,
Yes.
but but you know, that was heavy. That was beautiful. If there's anything about it though, is like in the first episode, in the
Hmm.
montage that recaps his life up to this point and recaps his relationship to Lois up to this point. Um, they show the moment when he reveals his truth to Lois, and it's the same move. It's, I'm just going to hover in front of you ever so slightly.
No, it does
So
the
it's like, I mean, that does do the job. But I guess I was just kind of hoping maybe he would find a different way to do it or whatever. But
right.
then again, it was still poignant, and the music did it. And then that
Yeah,
beautiful moment where like he froze the tree and it actually
yeah,
looked really pretty. And it was like, it made it like a beautiful and poignant moment.
right.
But I do remember thinking like, this is just what he does. When he wants you to know his secret, he just,
Yeah,
you know, floats up. But yeah, that was my one thing, the slow float. Like, I guess that's just his move. That's just his move.
listen. If you want to tell someone you're Superman, like that's the easiest thing to do. Is like
Just
watch me
float.
fly. Just watch me fly.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
I guess
throw in a
so.
little frost breath.
Yeah. So all
Imagine
in
he's there
all,
floating up, and then he just lasered her,
wow.
and he was like,
Wow.
"Now you know."
Although there was one other thing in their interactions that I thought was super hilarious. When he's laying on the floor and he has all these kryptonite shards in his chest,
Yeah,
and he's clearly in need of help, and she's like super tentative. She's moving
yeah.
really slowly
He's like,
and
oh,
really
really
carefully,
take them all
and he
out.
goes, "I'm gonna need you to go as fast as you can." Okay, like I just,
She's like,
I just love
oh, okay.
I just love that in that moment he's still being gentle. I don't know if
Yeah.
I would have said it like that because I was shouting at my TV. I'm like, Lana, get the kryptonite out of him.
I would have been
What are
like, get
you
her out.
doing?
Just get
He's
her
just like,
out.
oh, I'm just gonna really
Yeah.
gently, and I'm gonna save the biggest, most stressful one for the last. Take that out first. But either way, so I just thought that was funny. Where he's there, he's like pretty much on the verge of death, and he's like, take it out faster. I
Yeah.
need you to do it as fast. Come on, work with me here.
Yeah.
But
That was good.
yeah. Anyway, I love this show because it humanizes Superman in a lot of ways, though, too.
Yeah.
In every step of the way. Yes, he may have all of his godlike powers, but the way he's written and the way Tyler Hoechlin plays him, he's arguably never felt more human to me in live action like this than he
Yeah,
ever
he's really
has
he's really
on
good.
this show. Yeah. So the winning streak continues. Episode 11, season 2, Superman and Lois. Thank you to the people, Todd Helbing. Thank you to all the people who are bringing us this show, because a Superman fan like me has been waiting for this for ages, and now you're going to make me wait another 3 weeks for episode 12.
I know. I hope they
But-
give us like 3 episodes and they go, wait 3 more weeks for
Oh,
I'm like,
just to see me have a meltdown, you want them to do
Yeah.
that probably. But